Alright, so do you know why you're here? Do you know
My life story, I guess. Hi guys, my name is Joshua Okoli. I'm a third year software engineering student, current NACOS president, software engineering department. I am the third out of 4 children, born into my amazing family. I've spent most of my years, formative years, have been in the north. Growing up in an environment or, in society where your dad is the professor or like has a high level of academic achievement, there's this subtle standard that I said, society looks at you and be like, oh, your papa's smart too. You suppose smart. And the ironic thing is, my dad never really did sets. It was there, yeah, but it wasn't something he pressured you to. He gave room to do whatever you wanted to do, basically. But the thing was, if you're doing whatever you want to do, just be good at it. There's no room for mediocrity. One of the reasons I was good in school was actually a result of both, actually. The drive, that's personal drive from it, and then the environment. Because environment-wise, I had my mom, she would always push us to, be the better version of yourself. And that's not just necessarily in terms of school, but in terms of school, she would organize extra lessons, lesson teachers. I think I started doing lesson my primary one, and then I stopped SS3. So that's the amount of effort they put in. And then there was also this drive on my part that, okay, this is something I am doing. If I want to do it, I just have to do it, exceptionally well. So if someone pulled me to the side and asked, oh, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? At first there was this, it's Nigeria now. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an engineer. I want to, one of those, very prestigious jobs. Yeah, those white collar jobs, And even though then I would always say, oh, I want to be an engineer. I think now in retrospect, when I look back, I would say a builder. Because, from a very young age, you'd see me playing with DC motors, all these electronics now. I would break my hand fan, this electronic fan, rechargeable fan, break it to just get the DC motor. Why am I breaking it to get the DC motor? So that I can use it to, assemble one helicopter that can't fly, that was made out of cardboard and stuff like that. So, yeah, a builder. I was in SS3. Yeah. And then, the whole mechatronics, robotics was ringing in my brain. As in, okay, that's what we are going to do. And then one day, one quiet evening like that, my mom came because it was almost time for me to start writing my exam, my work. Then my mom came. I was like, Joshua, are you sure this mechatronics or like this robotic is what you actually want to do? Or it's not just because your dad is a mechanical engineer, your sister is currently studying robotics, And then it was a good question. So I thought to myself, then we're dealing with heavy mathematics, physics and stuff like that. And then she was now like, oh, she sees the way I play with like systems, that's laptops, computers, basically. And then she has been hearing of this new course, software engineering. That's basically you programming, building applications, software applications and stuff like that. And then I did my research and it was looking very cool because I still get to be the builder I always wanted to be. But it's just that we've changed from hardware to like more of code and, software. Now just build random stuff, build a to-do list, build an e-commerce, application, the basic programming stuff. And then there was a paradigm shift why am I just building random stuff when I could be building solutions for actual problems in this day and age? Even though they are not well polished for now, it's still advised you build something that solves a problem. It might not be, immediately affecting everybody. It could even be something like, let's say, a tool that would help you organize yourself, that kind of thing. So I started building to solve problems. And then one of the solutions I was building to solve one of those problems was payoff. Basically, the whole problem of financial transactions, failing when the internet seizes. It was a lot because I experienced it and it was a pain point. Imagine me trying to pay for food. I have the money, but internet is not letting me, pay. So it was bad. And then I asked other people too, and then they validated it to be an actual, problem. And then, okay, this is the problem. This particular demography of people sees this as a problem. So what I'm building is actually on the right track. And even though I've not, fully built it yet, I still have that, I don't know, like looking into the future where I get to complete building it. I see that when I finish building it, there's this sense of satisfaction that I would get from building it. At first, I met Mr. Joe. And Mr. Joe is one of the coordinators of the skills booth. Basically, the first time I met him was when we were preparing for a software exhibition. He was looking for hands to work with, and thought we've had an interaction before. So that was the first encounter. And then, he told me about what they are setting up here. A skills booth where people with different skills, tech, fashion, art, mimics, they are going to come together, be given a space where they could be more productive. And it was something that was, I was really interested in it. So I said, why not? This is definitely something I could use. I see myself as something bigger. I see myself basically as a problem solver or an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs usually, there's something we call market gap. That's the gap between what people supply and what people need. That's demand and supply, basically. So basically that market gap in itself is a problem. So me profiling a solution to that problem is more of me being an entrepreneur. And then the tool I am using to provide that solution to that problem, it is tech. And so I rise above just being a tech person to being an entrepreneur. It's not just about coding, it's about solving problems. Now I've met amazing people here, from my mentors, Mr. Joe, Mr. Eddie, Coach, Jerome, who's my friends, Christian, Kevin, that network, Jason. That network has helped me bolster my sense of identity. It has made me, be human first, and then professionally too. Department has been amazing, exposing me to, opportunities like hackathon, competitions, basically stuff for, innovation. The gap between Joshua in SS3 and the Joshua now is starting to become clearer because, the Joshua then just thought about, if you want to do something, there's a structural way of going about it, sequentially we do this and then this results to this. And then, coming here, being present in this moment, I've figured out that, there are many ways to do things. And then the key to achieving a lot is you being versatile, basically being able to adapt to whatever is being thrown at you, and if we were to strip all the titles in the presidency, hackathon wins, the skills boots, who Joshua is essentially, I would say Joshua is dogged. That's whatever he plans to achieve, he achieves it. For the student that does exceptionally well in what he's told to do, but doesn't really know what he wants to do. I would say one of the steps to figuring out that is you asking yourself maybe some uncomfortable questions. It might seem uncomfortable at the moment. Questions like your why. Basically, let's say Kaizen, for instance, your reason for existence, your reason for being, the intersection between your passion, your profession, hobbies, your why essentially. And then the answer might not be clear at first, but trust me, with exposure to your environment, time, experience, you would start to see, clearer answers. In the coming years, what I aim to tackle is to increase the standard of living. If there's a way to make a human life, like his existence, feel better or be experienced better, then that is something I would want to, get in.